we are going to go into the first game. So we have, for Germany, we have Nili in the green as Chinese. He's partnered by Jordan in the blue as Slavs. So one archer, one cavalry civ. And on the other side, we've got Praise in red as the Saracens. And AngelinaJolie in yellow as the Huns. Nili has a nice safe gold at the back. A little bit open on the south side, but that's between him and Jordan, so that should be okay. Matok's Chinese can be a cav civ, but primarily I would say they were archer. You're certainly not going to have Slavs playing as your archer player in a 2v2, are you? Jordan's map's a little bit more open. A wall, a hill just in front of his base. We go full genocide. My dog's now coming out with toys that I haven't seen her play with in literally 6 months. Never mind, okay. So a feature of this version of Arabia that they're using is this slightly stony terrain on hills. They're doing that so that it's easier to see elevation on the minimap. So you can see there's hills through the centre here. They're quite flat between AngelinaJolie and Praise. All the players are now oh no. Praise has brought in his first elephant. Nili's doing the same. All players now just on their way out. Nili's now managed to find all of his sheep, or is he still 2 down? He's still 2 down. He's just going to find them now. Equally, Jordan's got all of his now. No laming attempts so far in this game. Nili flagging this large wood line in between their bases. Planning to do a team wall? That's quite big walls if that's the case. Both pinging quite a lot. So AngelinaJolie's found his sheep and is now heading forward to start scouting his opponent's base. Jordan pushing in some of his ostriches. He's already got push 1 in, he's pushing another one in. And yes, it looks like team walls from Nili and Jordan. AngelinaJolie starting to wall up on the north side. Similarly, Praise on the south. Also pushing in his ostrich. AngelinaJolie just walling his base for himself. And they'll look to expand later on. But yes, Nili and Jordan definitely walling in a large area of the map between them. Hello, LG.
Hello. Sorry, I'll catch up with wherever you are at the moment.
I am nearly 8 minutes in.
Bear with me.
That's okay. I assume you got the Rex from me, okay?
I did indeed, yeah. I'm just loading up. Sorry about the delay.
All good.
A little bit of last minute DIY needed.
All good. Just adjusting sound levels. Happier now. So I was just talking about how the two teams are walling in different ways. Jordan and Nili are walling between their bases, taking advantage of a big wood line between them. Whereas AngelinaJolie and Praise are walling individually. While you're catching up, do you have any opinions about those two strategies?
I'll have to wait and see the map. It really depends. I think longer term, team walls are always great. But yeah, like I say, it really depends.
Yeah,
on how much they have to commit.
Yeah, and Nili's even double walling one section, the furthest from his base, just to give extra protection. I'd like to see Jordan do it the other side of the wood line when you catch up. So I'm just hitting 10 minutes now.
1 sec.
So the reason why Nili's doubling up on the palisades there is because if you team wall, there's almost always going to be a section that is further from both of your bases. So it becomes a weak point where the opponents can break in without you having the chance to re-wall behind. Which is exactly what Praise and AngelinaJolie are pinging now, that this is open and is a potentially vulnerable spot. Again, they'll be able to attack downhill to get a little bit extra bonus on their attacks. And all of AngelinaJolie's scouts have come in and there is a hole left. So AngelinaJolie is just waiting there. This could be bad news for Nili. He's starting to put houses behind the palisades, thinking that he was secure, and the scouts can just keep coming in. Jordan hasn't even walled at the back either. A worrying start for the team from Germany. But there is now an archer and a scout and a spearman out for Nili. He's going to go over and plug that hole, and just AngelinaJolie will now try and be annoying with these scouts. Found a weak bit of palisade, but it's been finished building by Nili, and the scouts aren't able to do any more damage other than that one bill pick they got early on. Oh, sorry, my mistake. 2 bill picks.
What time are you on now? I should be nearly caught up.
13:15.
Okay. I'm on 11.
Okay. So AngelinaJolie's just running around with the scouts. At the same time, Jordan has broken has found a hole, because it's still not walled around the back, into Praise space.
13 what?
50.
Okay, I'm on 13:55 now.
Okay, I've just hit 14, so just speed up just a touch.
Okay, we should be pretty much in line now. Cool.
So we got Jordan running around with scouts in Praise base, Angelina running around with scouts in Nili's base. Jordan has just found the hole at the back of his base, and so now Nili and Jordan will be fully team walled.
Yeah, so to answer your question earlier on, what do I like more? It's a pretty big investment to try and cover that middle area. And if you don't get it up in time, but like the danger is they weren't getting it done. This is what, I'm 15 minutes in and they've just finished that wall at the bottom by Jordan.
Yeah.
With team walls, if there's a hole, you don't screw yourself over, you screw over your entire team. It can be pretty disastrous.
But at the same time, Praise is only just finishing the walls at the back of his base.
True. But again, he's very conscious of he should be very conscious of where all the holes are in his walls and all that kind of thing. Whereas, let's say, for example, if Jordan has a hole, Nili's just at risk as Jordan is. There's no quick walls coming behind this. There's nothing. He's wide open if something gets in.
Sorry, just to interrupt. Jordan just sniping 2 placed but not built farms on his way through with 2 scouts.
Like his scouts aren't going to do much more beyond just being annoying inside there. So just to get that extra wood,
both now go across to AngelinaJolie, where Nili has a group of 10 archers.
But yeah, so long story short, now that team wall is done, I prefer the team wall, definitely.
Yeah. I did comment how I liked Nili double palisading that gap, just because it was an obvious weak point. And if there wasn't a hole, then they wouldn't have been able to get any damage. I think if they'd discovered scouts arriving at their walls, Jordan would have gone and filled that gap a little bit earlier.
Now, I guess we haven't really seen much coordination of attack so far. I think they've been quite independent.
Yeah.
If Angelina can hold off this, his slightly greedier approach can pay off. But yeah, it is a little bit greedy to do what he was doing. I'd say as it gets to Castle Age, you should start seeing much more, coordinated fights between the two teams.
Yeah.
And army size will really start to matter. Especially with the... there'll be a couple more knights for the Pekka, or for the Belgian guys, and
Netherlands.
Well, a lot more archers, or Netherlands. Sorry,
yeah.
Benelux. They're all the same around there, and a lot more archers for the Gamer Legion guys. So I do prefer the Gamer Legion position right now.
Yes, I do also. Obviously, the Huns team will have faster producing knights as a Civ bonus, I believe. Sorry, as a team bonus rather than just a Civ bonus, right?
Say that again?
Huns faster producing team bonus, or...
It's a team bonus, yes, the stables. Yep.
Obviously, only one of the players will go for knights anyway.
See, this is one of the things as well about team walls. Like, you see the likes of Nili, who double walled, whereas Jordan only single walled.
Yeah.
You really want to be coordinated in things like this, because it's such a vulnerable spot, then it's easy to break in. That for the extra 2 wood or 3 wood per wall or whatever it is, for 20 wood you would have completely secured that area rather than wasting 350 wood in markets just to hold off an attack.
And weirdly, I can't quite work out why AngelinaJolie only on one stable. It means that Jordan's going to outmass quite quickly, I would have thought.
He's dropping a second. So I suppose he used up a bit of wood when he was getting his market down, just a wall behind, and he's dropping an extra TC, so his wood count is a little bit shy, but it is. And the Huns player as well can get away with one stable for a little bit, given he was up to Castle Age earlier, so numbers shouldn't be too much of a matter if he gets it down earlier. But I would have liked to seen a second stable. Yeah, there is a little bit of a messiness with his build order, possibly due to Nili's pressure.
Maybe so. Now with Jordan as the defender's advantage, should be able to outmass with his 2 stables at home.
But the problem is that you have one player already up in Castle Age and they're inside in their base and they've got control of a nice hill there. So they can
Nili's just hit with a much bigger, massive crossbow though.
Yeah, but again, all they have to do is that hill that they've got inside that base is going to be quite difficult to push that.
So another thing I mentioned that I quite liked about this that you may not have known is that they've added this like stony terrain to all the hills, so that it highlights elevation on the minimap.
Oh, that's very interesting, actually. Yeah,
I like it.
Kudos to the map maker for this tournament.
Is it another Krasinni special?
I
haven't checked.
I don't see carpets around the TC, so I'm going to say it's not Krasinni. It's probably one of T90's map makers, so Henk or Olgernon.
Yeah. They've managed to re-wall the gap, and reinforcements from AngelinaJolie are not able to come in anymore.
They can take this fight even up going uphill against this, given the numbers advantage of Nili.
Yeah.
And they're going to get cleaned up here.
Upgrades. Jordan has more upgrades to his knights as well. He's got the +1 attack. They both got +2 armor.
That only just came in. I think they were bits. They were retreating to that hill unnecessarily. They should try and take the fight closer to Nili's base, knowing that the longer they left it, the more chance Jordan was going to get up units.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole one stable approach from
he's now got AngelinaJolie's now got a second.
Oh, he's got a
stable.
second one. Yeah.
He's still only producing from 1.
His eco is very tight. He's struggling pretty badly.
He's only got 8 on gold, which is a bit tight. Hey, Josh, this is LG co-casting with me. Leo Krigale. Is that the right pronunciation?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
not bad at all. Yeah, but again, Slav's eco kicking here and here now. The farming bonus really paying off. He's got his 3 TCs down and he's got 2 stables. Jordan's really pulling ahead of AngelinaJolie. And Nili was, since early feudal age, has already been quite far ahead of Praise.
Yeah. So another thing that we didn't talk about with was the risk of team walling against the Saracens player.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, it comes down to decisions like only single walling behind there, which is... It doesn't make any sense, because when you team wall, there are places that you're just not going to be able to reinforce if they try to break in. So you need to do what Nili did in that situation and at least like double wall or house wall or do something behind it just to try and reinforce it. Because otherwise, yeah, like you said, even if it wasn't Saracen's player, just a few archers will break through that in no time.
Yeah.
And now, like I said here, this is, like as it got into Castle Age, you'll really start seeing these coordinated fights. And it's all about army size and army control.
Yeah.
Which... Nili's been a little bit sloppy beside that TC, but still maintaining a very healthy military advantage.
Very comfortable. We've got Jordan with the same number of knights as Praise has crossbow. It's a concerning ratio. And again, we've got big hills right in front of the bases. 2 additional golds for Praise, which would be very hard for him to secure with this army presence.
And you see what Germany have done really well here is they've basically divided up the 2 armies between Praise and AngelinaJolie, so it makes it quite difficult for them to dictate any kind of fights. They can easily move back and forth between either base and then force one player to come and support. I like the fact that they're hitting the Huns player here, because knowing that Praise is at home, by the time he moves out to try and support, they have so much time to break in and do damage. The archer playing being much more slow, and so being that bit more difficult for him to reinforce and support his ally. And again, they should be fairly confident in their army size, that they don't have to worry about something like getting trapped.
So Angelina is now on 4 stable knight production. Just missing 1 attack upgrade. Missing 2 attack upgrades. He's 1 down on Jordan.
And he's still behind in military numbers. Jordan has previously added the monastery and was healing up his knights, so very clever use.
Army now comes in from both teams.
And we have extra armor from Nili as well. This is
on the archers, yeah. I haven't seen if ballistics has come in for either team.
Jordan was doing the right thing there. You see him just trying to dance around, avoid ballistics, basically being the tank in front of the archers. Because in these kinds of fights, it's all about thinning out archer numbers up until a point where until there's like a huge amount of knights massed, and you just have to kind of patrol them up for the best.
Jordan has his knights streaming across the map into this fight,
and he's added in a 4th stable now as well, just to back this up.
And they took down 1 of AngelinaJolie's in the process.
And about to take down a 2nd. Jordan just getting a little bit out of place here, but
they still have a massive military advantage.
Yeah.
This could well be the last fight.
I'd expect so. Like I say, the armor upgrade on the crossbows, if they ever did have to get engaged, extra attack upgrades on knights, this is only going to go one way.
But they're not taking it.
Again, slightly sloppy play there again by the Germany guys, who one deciding to go and attack the barracks, and the other one seemed to look away while the red player engaged.
Yeah. Hey, Yeki. Admittedly, Yeki doesn't say hello to me. She's saying hello to you. Or is excited to hear your voice. But taking a fight under the TC is a bad move for the Germany team. They are losing their numbers advantage. But no, they still have the numbers advantage.
They still got a huge presence inside Angelina's base, and the score gap is just getting bigger and bigger. While meanwhile at home, they're able to boom peacefully, keep on adding eco. And I mean, if you just look back now at Jordan, he's got 43 slab
farms.
farmers. Slab farmers as well, like,
Yeah.
so it's...
In comparison to 33 for the Huns player.
Yeah. Eco difference is pretty massive here. Saracen players on 4 TCs. He could have gone for a more eco, like he's really saturating his gold and completely inefficient. He's got 23 villagers on 1 gold pile at the moment. He's just shifting them now, like, but so much wasted opportunity there. He could be saturating 2 or 3 gold piles, knowing the pressure's away from his base, and try and get up and get ARB, because it's the only way he's going to save his teammate at this stage. He needs that early power spike bonus that Saracen's Market Abuse can give. But even then, they'd have to work it out.
Jordan started collecting stone and now has enough for a castle. Weirdly early.
It's 35 minutes in, but Slaviko, once he's produced knights from 4 stables. If he eases off his knight production even slightly, or more than 4 stables, then what, 5 stables? 6 stables. So as soon as he eases off his army production ever so slightly, he'll be in Imperial Age. Or he'll be clicking up to Imperial Age. But yeah, as expected, Saracen player being the first player to click up.
And of course, while we're talking about the Huns player having 30 plus farmers, there's a lot of them that have had to relocate because of this army presence. There are farms.
And see what I mean about Jordan? A second ago you said you were talking about him maybe not being too close to him. All of a sudden he's at 1200 food, 800 gold, just by not producing knights for a minute.
And he's dropping a castle in the centre of the map to try and get a bit of control over the big hills in the middle.
Yeah, very nice.
Adding more stables further forward as well, ready to try and have a faster reinforcement to the front.
AngelinaJolie, again, you can just see the kind of pressure, even at such a high level. Like, these are top class players, and things like he has 3 stables, but he's got 7 knights queued up from 1 stable and none from the others. Like, when you're under this amount of pressure, it's that's, I don't care how good you are, it becomes an incredibly difficult game.
Attacking the town centres, forcing the engagements. He's all players now on their way to the Imperial Age except AngelinaJolie, who is not even close.
No. Now if he cancelled the 8 knights all of a sudden, then he'd be much closer, but...
And he can't repair the town centre because he has 0 stone available. So for those unclear on that, you don't need stone as part of repairing. It doesn't cost stone, it only costs wood, but you have to have at least 1 stone in the bank in order to repair. AngelinaJolie losing a lot of his eco and his military, all in this attack from Jordan.
I'd be more than happy here to tin out all of Praise's Arbalest numbers against his crossbows, even if he's not an Imperial yet. Just forcing that fight there means that the power spike of Arbalest just won't really do anything to save AngelinaJolie here.
Yeah, Praise coming forward now with only 18 Arbalests remaining, whereas Nili has 33 ready to upgrade, and
AngelinaJolie calls it. Yeah, I think we see some sloppiness here from the Germany guys, just in some aspects of the play, like finishing, getting up the walls, and a little bit of sloppiness with their micro at the front, but still comfortably the better team in this one and showing why they're the favourites in this matchup, not for the competition. Unfortunately, I don't think Nili and Jordan are going to go the whole way, but you never know.
I'd love to see it. I spend quite a bit of time watching Jordan. I do like him. He's a very, very relaxed character.
That he is.
Yeah, so a fairly straightforward victory in the end for the Germany team in this game. We'll just have a look at the statistics. Solid KDs for both Nili and Jordan, just really hammering home.
Yeah, you can see a few of those fights early Castle Age. Like Praise took quite a lot of damage. Nili held onto his crossbow numbers really well. They moved across to AngelinaJolie and then just kept the pressure on him for the rest of the game. So you can see his numbers were kept really low and his villager count dwindling, while all the while Jordan was just piling in more and more pressure.
And booming his economy behind it.
Very much so. Very, very well played.
Jordan ending with 33 villagers. Well, sorry, his villager high was 33, higher than AngelinaJolie. I would be surprised if Angelina's vill high was right at the end.